Hi there, welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning in. And in this video we're going to be looking at something that I kind of have to play around with, and that is, ta-da, or in this case, DAJA, a laser engraver. Now for those of you who don't know, there's all sorts of laser engravers out there, try saying that 10 times fast, and they range from, you know, the very cheap to the very expensive. Well, this is one of the cheaper ones. Now I did have a bit of fun using one of these before, but unfortunately it stopped working pretty promptly. It was an older version, but this newer upgraded version promises to have Bluetooth connectivity to mobile app as well as better Windows connectivity. So we're going to be looking to see if we can make this thing, you know, work and if it's worth your while purchasing it. So stick around for the video and sit back, relax. This is DemonView. Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. I do appreciate you tuning in. So this is going to be a rather quick review because I actually haven't opened this box yet, so it's going to be kind of, well, will it work or will it not? And we're going to find out live, so to speak. Except I'm not broadcasting live, this is obviously all pre-recorded, but you know, you get the general idea. So first thing we're going to do is look at what's in the contents of this DAJA Laser Engraver box. And hopefully that's how it's pronounced, otherwise my apologies to the DAJA company. And no, I did not get this for free, bought and paid for it out of my own hard-earned cash, which is why it's really important that you click on those like and subscribe buttons down below, because you liking and subscribing helps fund this channel and these videos that you get to watch. So with that, on with the review. Okay, so let's see what we actually get in this box. Now, I'm kind of doing this backwards because it's actually facing the camera, so you'll have to excuse me if it's a bit hard to open this. So pop this open and open the top, and the first thing we get is a little instruction / setup guide. Yeah, as you can see there. Then we get this, I presume that's like a little measuring template so you can actually set up where your laser is going to start and finish. We get some sort of, well, dark piece of plastic, possibly a protective screen, and two little bits of wood. And then everything else is packaged under here. And it looks like we have the unit itself. So this is quite nice. This is made of pretty hefty aluminum or something. Well, it's definitely metal. Our protective green laser screen. I know what that is. Anything else down by the sides? I don't feel anything. Oh wait, yes there are. There are some extension feet, I believe, here. I saw that on the actual Amazon ad. Now this is so that if you wanted to, you know, engrave on a can or something, you could actually raise this printer up. I'll get them out afterwards. They're very tricky where they are. And then the laser unit itself, which, oh, that is actually pretty heavy and pretty large. You know, size of my hand compared to this thing, it's pretty big. Only has a few buttons on the top though, so there we go. What else do we get in here? Well, I'm gonna guess this is the power supply. And yes, it is the power supply, and a pretty hefty looking one of that. There's the standard USB key that always has the software for these printers. Now, I don't really understand why, because if you go to the website, you can't actually download the software from there. Not sure why that is, but one of the advantages of this particular model is that it can actually use some open source laser engraving software too, so you're not just stuck with some very bizarre Chinese software. Then we have a pretty thick USB cable. It's got that kind of connector on it, which is like an old printer cable. And that's a good thing, because a previous model printer I was working on, the very first thing that failed on it, I personally believe, was the USB port. And since it didn't have any Bluetooth connectivity, there was no other way to use the laser engraver. So I'm pretty happy to see this has got a much sturdier USB cable. And then all that's left are those other feet. I'm just going to tip that upside down, drop it all over the floor like so. And now let's put this thing together. Okay, so I've got all the parts kind of spread around here. Now this did contain the software, but also contains this little black piece of plastic card, or cardboard I mean, and it says this is the laser focus card. Oh, you can see that. Not sure how good the focus is in that. But basically you're going to put this card when this machine is built, on the table and focus the laser to the smallest point possible, so therefore you've got the best focus for that laser. Now, I'm noticing one thing, this did not come with any assembly instructions, so I'm just going to have to try and figure out how this goes together. What could possibly go wrong? Now, because this didn't come with any assembly instructions, I kind of have to guess how it's put together. Now, according to the picture on the box, and that's what I'm going to use in here, I think this goes in here like so. And we hear a snap or something breaking. Well, that's probably on me. Yeah, I'm going to cheat here and look at the picture of the box to kind of find out how this actually gets put together. In relation to, I guess, the power button, this should go along edge this side. Now, does that actually fit in there? That's weird. This is actually too big to fit in there. Oh, does it just sit on it? Where is it? Actually, yes, that's exactly what happens. This just sits on the outside, so these don't really attach. The only thing that attaches is the base here. Probably why there's no assembly instructions, because that's not very hard to figure out. And yeah, that's it. Just sits like this, and the protective glass kind of just sits on the outside like that. Okay, that seems safe to me, so what do you say we power this bad boy up? Now, before we do power this thing up, I'm going to give an obligatory safety warning here. Lasers are really, really, really powerful, and if you look at them for too long, or even an instant, if you shine it in your face or anything like that, you can permanently damage your retinas, as he says as he bangs off the laser engraver. So don't do that. Make sure that you have that safety glass installed, and even purchase a pair of laser safety glasses if you can online first. I'm going to have this set up behind a screen. I'll have a camera on it, which won't actually kind of like record the entire brightness, and it won't blind anyone, but you'll be able to see it as it works. The other thing is, these things are extremely smelly, and don't forget, you're using a laser to burn into surfaces, and that's going to produce a lot of toxic fumes, which are very unhealthy. So if you can, make sure you operate it in a well ventilated space, and even set it up outdoors if it's not rainy out. Obviously, water and electronics don't mix, but having a nice outdoor platform on a nice day, that could be ideal. So, things to think about. And finally, I've got these kind of large pieces of wood lying about, and I'm actually going to put these under the engraver and then put the laser surface on top of this, because, you know, you don't want to just put it on your desk or your table or something like that. Otherwise, you run the risk of burning something actually into your desk or table. So that's why I'm going to be placing these underneath the laser printer. So laser engraver, keep saying printer. And that way, if there's any kind of gap or anything, or it gets knocked, I'm not going to ruin my surface or my table. I'm just going to ruin some old pieces of crappy wood. So before we begin with the big test yet, these are the two wood samples that it came with. They're fairly small, very thin pieces of wood. And here's some stuff I got off Amazon for my previous laser engraver that I haven't used that much. And these ones look nicer, but these ones are just a tad bigger. So if you're really going to invest in one of these little laser engravers and you want to burn some wood stuff, yeah, purchase these little round discs off Amazon. They also come with square ones, but I'll leave a link down below, because you'll probably want a couple of these, because as you're testing, you're going to have a few upsies, so to speak. So, you know, have these ready for when you get your laser engraver. Yeah, I said engraver, not printer. Okay, so first things first, I have the laser set up behind me just so you can't see it. Now, I did actually plug it in, turn it on, haven't got the software installed yet, and the very first thing it did was try to home into a far kind of bottom right-hand corner, I'd say, and make some grinding noises like it was still trying to home but had reached the limits of its homing position. So not a good sign to start with. But now I'm going to install the software, and we'll see how this spyware works. Did I say spyware? I meant software. Okay, so we plugged in the USB drive, and here we go. Let's switch to desktop capture. So when you plug in the USB drive, this is what's going to pop up. We've got Windows Mac Picture app, and picture is a bunch of sample pictures, and usually there are a load of logos, which I'm not going to actually show here in case it's any type of copyright, because usually they are. The app should bring up a picture that will tell you, hey, scan this in to download the app to your phone, and then Mac software is Mac software, and this here will be the Windows software. We'll have the driver, and usually, oh, this is interesting. With the other printers, or sorry, with the other engravers I had, they all used a variation of the same driver, but this one looks a bit different. So let's go and install our driver. I accept the agreement. Yeah, hack all my software, of course. Okay, finished. That was really quick. Okay, now let's go and install this software. And not responding, that's a good sign. Oh, and it's in Chinese, great. The file has already been used. I have no idea what that means. Would it be nice to have a language install? I take it that's X and this is next. Don't know why this has already been used, so it looks like the software cannot be installed. This is interesting. We'll see what happens anyway. Right, so quick update on this. Now, I had to plug in an extension cable to try and actually reach the laser engraver over there, and the PC software would not connect. There's a surprise. The other thing is then I decided I would use the mobile app and connect via Bluetooth, and there doesn't really seem to be kind of a way to configure this really. You can import an image and, well, something happened. It's starting to burn there, but it actually took a while for it to get out of that. I'm just going to go to the corner and try to home for about 6 hours. So I've no idea how this actually set up or anything like that, but I'll try again with that PC software after this finishes doing whatever the heck it's doing here. But so far, not off to a promising start. And an update, I just decided to run all that installation again, and this time it seems to have gone through no problem, and the PC has connected to the laser printer. Now it's still doing whatever it was doing when I set up the mobile app, so I'm just going to let it finish that. It's at 54% right now, but yeah, things are starting to look up, but it's not exactly a smooth kind of process to begin with, so let's just say fingers crossed and we'll see how this laser engraver does. Okay, so we're back, and yes, I finally got the PC software working. I even got the mobile app software working. Took a couple of attempts, but it got there and it seemed to have worked quite well. One of the things I'm really impressed with in the PC software is that there's a preview button which will actually make the laser go around the outside of where it's going to be engraving the image, and that was badly needed because in the older, cheaper versions you didn't have this, so I kind of experienced that when you put something in to engrave on it, it was kind of a lucky guess as to where your image would end up. Not so with this new software, but shall we take a look at the results? Let's do that. Okay, so here's what we have, and let me get this first one up for you. Now, you might not be able to make out what that is, but that is actually a photograph that I had on my phone. I printed this off of the mobile app. Didn't really adjust any settings, but that is a plane in a field. Now, kind of hard to make out unless you know what you're looking at. I'll insert the high quality photograph here, but you know, not too bad considering I didn't have anything really to hand, and that's just what I printed off. But now for the piece de résistance, I decided to print off with the DemonView logo. Want to see what that looked like? Well, here we go. And you know what? That is pretty good. I mean, yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with that. Now you can see there is a bit of scorching there. It looks like a bit of smoke almost coming away from it. And yeah, that's kind of to be expected when you don't have an air assist to kind of blow away some of the heat. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. You can make out the font very well. It's very readable. And you can't really see it on the camera, but this did actually engrave quite well. I mean, if I run my fingers over that, I can actually feel the texture there, especially on the wings here. That there's a good bit of depth to that. So yeah, I am quite happy with that. I mean, considering the way that the other one kind of failed to work, and that was only after a few uses, I am really, really happy with that. That's pretty awesome. Now, I will say this is that one of the things that you should definitely consider, by the way, I'm enjoying some soup at the moment, is that you really got to operate these in a well-ventilated place. I did, you know, this image and then this image on the same piece of wood. I didn't want to get too generous. And I have to say, this place did actually get pretty stinky. I had to open the garage door to ventilate it, and that's just like 2 images. The other thing is that this is not designed for like long-term use. I mean, if you run that thing for 4 hours, you could actually burn the laser out. And if you run it for an hour, you really want to power it off for 10 minutes before like doing the next one. Give it some time to cool down. So this isn't really a high production, you know, machine. I mean, if you had 20 of them and you were doing these things, then yeah, maybe you could, but you really want to do it outdoors. The only other thing I would say is that glass that's around the that to kind of protect your eyes, yeah, I'm probably going to get like a bigger piece of glass to put over that, because there is a bit of a gap at the edge. I mean, if you're looking at it straight on the way you kind of are here, not a problem. Your eyes are not going to be burnt out. But I mean, if you're walking to the side or walking through the workspace, yeah, you could very easily kind of, you know, get a bit of a headache from your retinas being burnt out of your skull. But all in all, is that worth 168 bucks? Definitely, absolutely 100%. The other model I bought, I was about 150, no Bluetooth connectivity, only worked on a small USB-C cable, which is, and I figure that port broke. Maybe I can get a replacement board for it, I don't know. But that thing there, much sturdier USB socket on it. No kind of like wiggle room or anything like that. It felt very solid, and the fact that it's got Bluetooth connectivity, yeah, that's very helpful. The app could use a bit of improvement, especially, you know, for lining things up, but now that I have it kind of set up, that's not going to be a problem if I do use the Bluetooth app. So yeah, I am really happy with that. So if you're going to get yourself or someone else a very cheap laser engraver for under 200 bucks, yeah, that one's going to do it for you. I really do think it is. I mean, if you're looking to kind of like produce something that's much bigger, and because this really is about the limit size wise, but you can print off some nice coasters with that. And I'm going to try on some other materials that I have, but I'll be waiting for the weather to improve so I can do it outdoors, because that was pretty stinky. So, you know, in the meantime, is this worth money? Yeah, I think it is. I'm going to have some fun with that, and I'm going to, you know, print off a couple more of these and have some nice coasters available for me. So that's my review of the DAJA Laser Engraver, and if you liked what you saw and learned anything, not only will I be surprised, but you know, I'd appreciate it if you click those you know, like and subscribe buttons, as it really does help out. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I can edit it into something a bit more comprehensible. Until next time, cheerio.